Hopefully we're back. I think we're back here. So we've been having some issues with the stream lately. Today we haven't. It's been super smooth. But the little man unplugged the stream or unplugged the Wi-Fi. So unfortunately we got to start all over here. So I'm gonna just start off where we left off here, and we'll continue here.
Make a phone call and say, no, we're not going to look at it. They didn't make a phone call.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah.
But she's the kind that I don't think she gets manipulated. She feels
seems
like
pretty
it's
no
real.
nonsense.
Right.
Yeah.
So whether the tip's real or not, we're not saying that, hey, they should, run down there and start digging in the dirt with them. But it's blowing our mind that this is a quality tip, that they didn't at least just
Part two, take
make
two.
a phone call and say, no, we're not going to look at it. They didn't make a phone call.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah.
So having said that,
I asked her. I didn't.
Piece of information that's out there could prove vital. You don't know all the things we know, and we still need to know what you know, because there's something out there that we don't know. We think somebody knows something, so call us with whatever tip you might have. It really is. I can't stress this enough. Every piece of evidence, every single tip we have, they are worked, they are looked at very seriously, and nothing is dismissed. So don't think this is too small or this was too long ago. Call us.
little circus music.
Here's the thing. We talked, for those of you that don't know us, don't know our family, Glenn's brother-in-law, his sister's husband is a retired homicide detective from Kansas City. I called him about after we had the second interview, which we're going to show all this. I'm just trying to give a little background here. There's been a lot of confusion in the comments, and I don't understand. Why don't you go look? I'm not going to Sonora, Mexico, and I know I didn't mention where it was, but that's not happening. My question is, even if you had some redneck Bubba that calls up and says, my cousin's got a shed and she may be in it. And I know I'm being crass here, but there's weird stuff that these people get in tips. My question is, how do you know it's not real? And I thought that he just told the world that every tip will be researched. I mean, isn't that the impression that you guys got?
Yeah, so
So respectfully, I'll have to touch up on that. I had to stop it right there real quick. Sorry, guys. So yeah, I mean, and let's play it again. Let's play it one more time. As far as what she says here,
that these people get in tips. And I know a redneck Bubba that calls up and says, my cousin's got a shed and she may be in it. And I know I'm being crass here, but there's weird stuff that these people get in tips. My question is, how do you know it's not real? And I thought that he just told the world that every tip will be researched. I mean, isn't that the impression that you guys got?
Okay, so first and foremost, we can't for one, number one, we don't believe everything that Sheriff Nano says. That's easier said than done, right? But we can't. We all know for sure, for a fact, that he's lied on numerous occasions about numerous things. Not only that, in the beginning of time, they were taking tips more than no other. But you have to understand, there has been so many people that have interfered or they tried to interfere with this case. I'm not even going to say their names. They know who they are. We know who some of those people are who have said that they know who the guy is. We just had a guy recently. A guy recently came out and said, he knows who he did. And he knows who took Nancy, and he claimed they were in Utah. He even claimed it was Hoda from the host alongside Savannah from the actual show. So I mean, the lady that did the interview. But I mean, they got to be. I mean, I think at this point they got to be cautious about the tips that they take. Yeah, they're taking tips, but I don't think that they should. I wouldn't think that they should take, all of the possible tips they could possibly take, especially, well, I think that they should, but I think with certain ones, they're easy to rule out and kind of, move through on to the next one. But there has just been so many people that have made the effort to interfere with this investigation on numerous occasions. And, I mean, yes, they should address this. They should figure out, what's at stake here, because if they have nothing, then they should be trying to dig up something to find something. And I think it's also the way people present the story to them. I mean, you can't just obviously just call them and say, hey, I think this is legitimate. I think you should look into it. And they take your word for it. I think that they're careful about where they're getting their sources from as far as what could possibly lead up to being a legitimate tip. And it sucks to say, but I do know for sure, just based on people's experience that I've seen, they're not taking any and every tip that they could possibly get. And people need to know this, because, you call and you got a tip, you better have a good way to present it and get it to these guys, because otherwise you're going to have a difficult time sharing this tip with them. They, based on everybody's experience that I've heard, not everybody's had a successful experience giving the FBI tips. Some people have been hung up on. Some people can't even get through. So just FYI, just so you know, they're not taking every little bit and every tip that they could possibly get. So don't be surprised if you get a source that sounds reliable, that sounds legitimate, to give to the FBI. Don't get so excited to give these guys a tip, because it might not be something that they're interested in even looking at.
Yeah, certainly.
That's what he said.
What he just said.
So I was blown away that they had not been contacted. And to confirm this, once I got the interview, I kept asking and I re-asked, and she confirmed they have never been contacted by any law enforcement from America. So without further ado, I guess we'll go into...
Yeah, and real quick, we do need to ask everyone, if they can, please subscribe if you're not subscribed, and hit the like button and all. What's the other buttons on here? Notifications. And
yeah,
it really helps our channel, and that doesn't cost anything. And we really appreciate everyone being here tonight. And yeah, I think what we wanted to do was play, the first gentleman's name was Juan. We're not going to play that full interview, because it just kind of...
You guys, it would be a 2-hour show just with their interviews.
Yeah, he knew a lot, but she reiterated. You kind of asked some of the same questions to make sure we got the information from her. She's like president of the organization. And I will tell you that this is not like a corporation, with a big tower in the middle of Nogales. These are boots on the ground people that run it. So don't judge them by the way that the way they talk. You're not going to be able to understand.
A lot of them that volunteer, and I, have had missing family members themselves. So they're not only looking for their family or their neighbor's family, they're out there for them, themselves and helping others. So it's really kind of amazing what these people do. And this is not easy terrain when you look at this. We got a more in-depth look.
Yeah, and they have a very high success rate. I mean, just in the past 5-6 months, that's 25 something bodies. Now, some of those were in similar, 1 or 2 grave sites or whatever, but they're just known that they're the ones. If they think the tip's real, they're going to go after it. And she even said there's been some tips that they weren't 100% sure on, but something made her think it was real, and they found.
She goes, we don't care. We're still going to go look.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is the first one, and then we'll be right back with this.
But he said that is a difficult question to answer, because he's not too familiar with anything about Nancy, really. But yeah, it could really be anything, he says.
Okay. Tell him thank you so much for his time. We love what they're doing. We appreciate what they're doing. We're very thankful that they're trying to help these families, because we can only imagine the pain that they're going through, and getting one sense of peace from.
Not only that, though, real quick, guys, just to go back on the tips just real quick. Another thing with these tips is a lot of these tips are vague as well. I mean, you want to be sure when you call that tip line, and this is just, just for peace of mind and just something to keep in mind. When you call that tip line, try to sound like you're sure, because I have a feeling I saw a suspicious car it doesn't really sound like something like legitimate. You know what I mean? So you don't know how many times I'm sure they've got tips that sound like they're not so sure. Someone online said something weird. I mean, those aren't really, they don't really sound like tips to really look forward to looking into. You know what I mean? And that's a lot of the times how we, make our assumptions or our speculations, or we give our theories. We start with, I got a feeling, or, I feel like, those are things that that could indicate to them, well, this is one of those things again where, I'm just not buying it, And to be honest, when you have a situation like this, it's going to take time to make the story believable for anybody to buy into it, to be honest. So, the FBI just can't act on feeling or fragments. If a tip doesn't contain a name, a location, obviously they want a timestamp, and then they need digital handles. They obviously, of course, they want a vehicle plate. It gets logged, but not escalated. That's what you want. Your goal is for this to get escalated, not just logged, because then you know that they're not really going to act on it right then and there. They're just going to get around to it when they get around to it. You know what I mean? So just peace of mind. I mean, that might be a better way to get them to, escalate something like this, rather than them, not believing your story, or kind of just taking your information down and then putting it off to the side.
Them finding their family members is amazing. And we pray for all of them and their safety, and thank him for his time.
Muchas gracias por su tiempo. He said that this week he's going to try to get you an interview with their leader, if that's okay, so that
That would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, so that y'all can get better information, because she'll have more information about Nancy.
Gracias. Mucho gracias.
Muy amable.
Thank you.
We just wanted to show that so that we could show that we did interview a gentleman named Juan. He's their he's their PIO basically. He's their marketing guy. He does a lot for them, but also to show that when they're speaking Spanish, they can go on for 10 minutes, and then the interpreter is like, the answer is no. And so we were like, we don't think anybody wants to hear all that, but I did leave a lot of the Spanish in so you can see this person's actually talking, and then the interpreter is someone that we know very well. So
She's a family friend. Yeah.
So we know that she's
So we do have the full unedited version, but like I said, we're not going to go on for 2 hours, showing it. So we edited some of it out for time constraints. But then this is where we got the opportunity. And mind you, I was having to text my friend what I wanted to say. She was having to text me back in Spanish what to say. Then I had to wait for him to respond. I mean, that's why this took, as you know, Adam, like 2 weeks. This was crazy. And anyway, I just appreciate everybody's.
Real quick too, and I hate to stop them right there because this is rather interesting. Another thing is another thing that I know is very hard for all of us to do, because we're looking to grow our channels. We're looking, and I know Jennifer's, that's the last thing on her mind. That's the last thing that she cares about when it comes to, bringing Nancy home, or just getting to the bottom of this period, to dig up any little information that we can to potentially crack this case. And this is not for Jennifer, this is for other people, but when we feel like we might have stumbled across something that might lead to cracking this case, or, just getting us somewhere in this case, a lot of the times we want to keep rolling. We want to share this information with people. Just keep in mind that if you ever discover something in this case and that would crack this thing wide open, if you're on stream during this time, they're going to ask you to cut the stream off. They don't want anybody to know. In fact, they're probably going to put a gag order on you so that you're not sharing any of this information, because this is, anything that you discover in this case is going to be a critical piece of evidence. They might want to save this later, to use this in court if it is a critical piece of evidence. So, perhaps it's best to stay quiet about it until it's the right time. And I think that became very challenging for Brianna, who had the actual ransom letter, because she was one of the people that received it. I think people start to feel like they owe something to us because, a lot of us, have been working hard to try to dig up any information that we can. But a case, honestly, guys, it does require a lot of patience. And it doesn't make it easier with people howling down your back trying to get you to budge on information when they assume that you know something that they don't. People are dying in this case to know things about things we just don't know. I mean, we all are. We are dying to just get some insiders to not only know for ourselves, but to share with the rest of the world. But this is one of those cases where if you get any information, you are not going to be able to share it whatsoever. And it's the truth. And I hate to say it, but if you know anything, say something, but you really aren't going to be able to say it on stream until this is probably all said and done. I mean, you could probably implement that, something, but other than, beyond that, it's probably best that you don't say anything at all. And I mean, that's just how this goes. It's unfortunate, but I mean, we're all here to report. We're all here to, try to help this case in every way.
We talked to Adam yesterday, and I said I can send this interview over to you. And we made a decision, all four of us, that Adam and Mike have not seen it yet. That's kind of the Adam and Mike show, is that Mike is not prepped on anything, so that there's a unbiased, first time seeing it, voice in the room. So we're doing the same thing. Adam nor Mike has seen this interview yet, and it may look boring or seem boring. Please stick around. We have some really compelling stuff after this is over.
I don't know what happened, but she, at the end of the interview, all of a sudden just started revealing a bunch of information. And this was the part that gave us pause. And as much as we thought, wow, this is great, we got this awesome interview, then we both looked at each other, and even the interpreter went, I don't know what to say. And we were like, I don't know what to say either. And she goes, what are you guys going to do? And I was like, I don't know. So then, we reached out to my brother-in-law, and he said, you don't know what law enforcement knows. So you don't know what's important, what's not important. I think you should go ahead and report it to the FBI, which is what I did on, 2 nights ago or,
Yeah.
and I then was trying to reach out to my friends that are mods and say, does anybody know anybody that might know somebody that's one of the big channels? Like, if they've ever gotten stuff like this with true crime, and do you just give part of the information or do you give all of it? And unfortunately, not due to the fact that nobody got in contact with it. I'm telling you what, I only had one negative comment. Everybody's been so polite, so kind, so helpful. It's going to make me choke up a little bit. The comments were really nice, and everybody was trying to help us. And ultimately, I ended up reaching out to News Nation, Brian Enton, Ashley Banfield. I emailed them, and this was over the weekend. Nobody responded to me in 3 days. I ended up calling News Nation. I also called KOLD, who got me.
They're very busy. We're not.
I mean, we're not criticizing anybody at all. No, not at all.
No, but not only are these guys busy, but they're very, very selective on the information that they take. I mean, if anybody's going to follow up on this, this has got to go around the loop a couple times before they even pay any attention to it. I mean, it took some time for Chris to, it took a lot of people to reach out to Chris, and it took some time for him to even, acknowledge us being arrested in the neighborhood. So, not only is the FBI selective on the information that's being put out there, but a lot of these people who are very, a lot bigger than us behind this platform are very, very selective on, what they decide to entertain. But it's also, there's certain things that I believe she was reaching out for just kind of some clarification. It's just maybe just to get some insight and, see if this was actually legitimate or not. And I think a lot of us are in fear of being wrong, or with fear of, being dragged into the investigation, or fear of somebody connected to the case might be, be able to somehow retaliate. Or I think sometimes we fear that the name, is going to be exposed, and we're, responsible for that in some way. But I mean, it's just hard because this case has a lot of friction, and I think the sensitivity, it makes the process also like feel really slow. But they are just going to be very selective, just because of the complexity of the case and the volume that it's brought in. You got to understand. There's been so many things that's happened. There's been a lot of opportunists that are scammers, people sending fake ransom demands, and you got people pretending to have Nancy. You got people trying to extort the family. Behind all these speculations, rumors, and unverified screenshots getting deprioritized, it makes it very challenging for people to react to certain emails, and it takes almost a group of people for anybody to entertain anything that you're bringing to their attention, and it sucks. But because of the people, that's why this case has been so difficult for not only just investigators to follow up on things, but also bigger streamers, which is it's the truth.
It's just, what do you do? And so I kept thinking, and on my part, what are people doing that possibly have something that is important to this case? Because in 72 hours, I couldn't get one person to return a call, an email. It's been more than 72, I think, now for Brian Enton's emails, and they said his emails are packed. We're going to get you to the news director. Somebody will give you a call back because we have a direct link to the FBI. And I said, I don't want this on my part on the news. I just want to get in touch with somebody that could get this to the FBI directly, rather than going
Kim
to a
Wells,
tip
much
line.
love to you. Thank you so much.
So,
We'll discuss the tip line fiasco in a minute.
right. So that's the premise for why there seemed to be drama. But we've decided we're just moving forward. So here we are.
Yeah, we did a whole show. I think it was episode 3 was about tips, and
hey, good
my
job,
personal theory
Jennifer
is, and
Glenn.
I am no way saying that these authorities don't have a major job with all the tips that are coming in.
No,
I think
yeah.
it was like 18,000, and it was up to 40,000. And
Yeah.
the triage that's required, and then cross-referencing, and then you have 2 FBI plus Pima County Sheriff, and it's just a mess.
Where do you go?
But I feel like the person that knows who did it has turned them in through the tip line, and I can now even more believe that it was not handled, or it's sitting on someone's desk. I know they don't do it that way anymore, but it's sitting in someone's hard drive or however it works. I'm convinced of it. 40,000 people can't be wrong. Somebody was right in there. And this may or may not be, this isn't going to solve the case, what we're talking about tonight. This is something that is maybe a small possibility, but it's a possibility that could bring the family some closure. So that's all we're trying to do. When Jennifer made the call to the FBI, and wait till after this interview, and we start talking about that a little bit. But Jennifer has a story to end all stories about. You keep hearing, well, we get people in our chat. We have our tips line, tips at tbxunfiltered.com. It's filled up every day. We go through it as quick as we can. And we hear you guys saying, I've called the FBI, and we did not believe you before, but
No.
we most certainly believe you now. The FBI is not a friendly people to talk to,
Yeah.
to relay the information. They make you feel that big. So we'll talk
Adam
about that
said he
after.
had something to say.
Oh, Adam, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. I just want to thank everybody. I see everybody coming in, and I just want to thank you guys so much. All of the Patriot Pride family, all of the JLR Army, all of you guys that are coming in to support Jen and Glenn and Thornbridge X Unfiltered. I just want to thank everybody. And you guys were talking about, we're all a community, right? We're all here to help each other.
That's right.
And that's what it's going to take to solve this thing. And so, all of us are in this for the same reason. And so, we're all here to support each other. And I just want to thank everybody that's coming in. And you guys, again, thank you for the opportunity for inviting us tonight.
Well, thank you, Adam and Mike, for trying to help us. You know, like I
Navigate
said,
all
I had
this.
this crazy idea, and I said, "Can you help me find somebody that could translate?" And then I ended up having to reach out to family. But I can't thank you enough for taking my crazy idea and thinking, "Hey, let's see if we could get some answers on why they weren't followed up with." And boy, did we ever get answers. So here we are.
You know, real quick on that note, you just said that, you know, we're all the streamers were in this together. We are surprised, very
Wow.
surprised by all the support. I mean, even these larger streamers that have reached out to us over the last month,
Yeah.
it's just been amazing. And their offer of support and, you know, mostly Patriot Pride. You guys have quite a following, and you're
Man, shouts to Patriot Pride. I mean, these guys have been awesome, man. These guys have, I mean, man, Adam definitely putting in a lot of work. I mean, I've seen him show up on several different platforms, and just to take the time out to do that alone is a lot. And you know, shouts to him because he doesn't have to be on a lot of people's channels, and he is. So much love to Patriot Pride. I mean, these guys have been putting in a lot of good work lately. Yeah, Golden, thanks so much for the love and support, man. Help me get to 22K. We've been losing a lot of subs lately, man. So we got a lot of work to do. But that's okay. I'm in for the long haul. And it's just something I got to learn. Got to learn how to juggle everything and keep pushing forward. I'm going to skip up on this a little bit because I think I think it's actually coming here, actually. So we'll let it play through here before we move forward here. But anyway, I appreciate everybody's love and support, man. You guys been awesome. Also, I actually wanted to mention that. Let's just continue here.
always there to support us, and we just really, really appreciate it. But I mean,
You guys, I had mods.
a lot of the people from the interview room have been talking to us and telling us that and you know, we're
their audience.
we love watching the interview room, and of course, Patriot Pride, and
Patriot
we watch
Pride.
all of them. You know, some we'll switch our plans around to watch, and some we record, and we're the what do they call?
By the way, thanks for extending the membership for 2 months. Thank you. Much love to Miracles. Is it Stravling? Much love to you. God bless you. She says thank you for all you do, Juice, man. No, thank you for being here and supporting the channel. I appreciate that a lot. And Miss Doglover says, who else thinks that Luke shares a resemblance to the mask guy? I mean, I still think he does. I mean, a lot of people do, though. I mean, when you think about Colella, he's fairly close as well. I mean, there are so many people that resemble porch guys. It's difficult. But I mean, when you look at Luke's picture, because we were looking at it earlier, it's very close. It is very close. I honestly think the DNA thing that he has going on as far as the warrant for his DNA has something to do with the Guthrie case. Only simply because I don't think that they would do that and throw it out there pertaining to some other situation. I just don't see it. I mean, because there's really nothing bigger than this case right now. And I'm sure whatever he has going on is definitely not bigger than this case. That's for sure. So I honestly, in my opinion, I think that the DNA warrant that they put out for him has something to do with the Guthrie case. I don't think it would be something else that he has going on. And even if it doesn't, you know, it may just lead back to, you know, Nancy's case. Who knows? But I mean, what else could this guy have possibly done that we need to hear about it? You know, although, I mean, he's pretty much famous now because he was brought into this case. But I mean, it's just that second picture. I mean, I think that's isn't that his brother in the second picture? That's, my God, what's his name? I don't know if that's a younger picture of Luke. Is that a younger picture of him? I think that is a younger picture of Luke because that's Luke with some hair. I don't know. It looks like Luke. I always thought the other guy or some of the other pictures were his brother. So I always get them confused. But in that second photo next to the actual photo here, to me, it looks just like the perp. Eyes and all. And I honestly don't think the perp has a cleft lip. I think it was just a part that's indented in the mustache that just needed to be combed down. I don't really think it's like a cleft lip to me. It doesn't really look like a cleft lip. I mean, a cleft lip has more indent to the actual lip. It doesn't have like a cut in the actual mustache. Like if somebody took a razor or, you know, or some clippers and accidentally put a line into the actual mustache. A cleft lip, you could tell. It just looks more indented. You could just tell. Okay, and the cleft lip, it definitely doesn't. It looks similar to that, but not exactly.
On the replay guys on those, but whatever. We just feel like every one of them has something to offer. Even if you don't like the people or whatever, there's something that comes on that makes you go, well, wait a minute, I didn't know about that. And then we'll go figure, a little research and find out it's true. So
for Glenn and I, we like to stick to the facts. We like to stick to, looking at those. We don't mind going down the theories, but it's because you have to figure things out. But I also want to revisit things. I like puzzles. I like to figure it out. So
I want to go on record real quick, though.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure anyway. I mean, I don't know everything, but
Marie,
Matt Lauer
big welcome. It's good to see
didn't
you.
do it. He's not porch guy.
Where in the world is Matt Lauer? I don't think it's in Tucson, but it's okay. So, to each his own. I mean, we respect anybody's theories, and I think
I love watching it. Yeah, because I sit there.
One way or another, we're all going to be shocked when this happens.
So they're getting somewhere here. I wanted to see this. I think they're getting ready to put somebody up here that they may have spoken to at one point in time. So that's where I'm trying to get. I think it's almost there, guys. So just bear with me here. By the way, just real quick here, couple things. Much love, Mev. Thank you so much for the $20 super chat there. And just real quick, I wanted to share this with you guys all. I don't know if you guys remember Angie. She goes by the name of Matt here on stream here normally. And
I
see
know
if I can take this down here real quick and throw this up here for you guys real quick. She as of lately, has been battling cancer. Just wanted to send my love and support. She recently just put, let me see if I can put this up here real quick. I want to share this on the, in the chat. She recently just started a GoFundMe. She's trying to raise some money for her to cover her funeral costs. She lives in Ohio. She's currently 54 years old. She takes care of her father. She calls in the channel all the time. Truly appreciate her calling in and just supporting the channel, not financially, just with her love and her time, because that's what matters most to me. And I wanted to just share this just real quick here. And I actually need to go, while we're watching this, I'm going to go ahead and post this on X first and see if I could be of help in any way. And it's hard to see though. Let me see if I can find a better, I think this one might actually work here. This one might be a little bit better. Can't see the whole thing. Jesus. That might be better. So anyway, she's recently been battling cancer. She's did a GoFundMe. Doesn't matter how much she's trying to raise. If anybody cares to be of help, please support her. I'll continue to keep you in my prayers. I'll continue to share this amongst the channel, as well as on my social media platforms to help in any way. And my heart goes out to you. And just remember what I said. It's going to be all right. You're going to get through this. You're going to beat it. You are going to beat it. And it's not the end of the world. You will be all right. God is protecting you in every way. And she kind of, I mean, it really grasped my attention because she said that, and not that this is anybody's business, but she said it came from vaping. And I do a lot of that, especially during stressful times. So just certain things like this help us get on the right path and it reminds us to stop doing certain things. And that's something that I definitely got to stop doing. Otherwise, I'm going to learn. I will learn. But much love to you, Angela. Just real quick, I wanted to say that. And again, I'll continue to try to put this out there for you. Shout out to Angela. Prayers. Send some prayers and love to Angela in the chat. It's going to be all right. I'm trying to find the video, though, so we can put this back on the screen. But I don't see it. Let me find the video, guys. I just had it up. It just disappeared on me. All of a sudden. All right, here we go.
But again, I thank you to the mods from other channels that I've never even met you. I was amazed at people going, I'm going to help you. So thank you so much. So here's the interview with Mrs. Ayala. So we enjoyed speaking with Juan as well, and he suggested that we speak directly with you since you were the person that spoke with the man who called in the tips about the location of Nancy's body.
Hablamos con Juan y él fue el que nos dijo que deberíamos.
So apparently this lady spoke with somebody who apparently has Nancy's body. It looks like somebody's going to be translating here, so it's going to be a little tough to follow here. I'll try to intervene a little bit just to kind of keep everybody on board with what's going on here.
Juan as well, and he suggested that we speak directly with you since you were the person that spoke with the man who called in the tips about the location of Nancy's body.
Hablamos con Juan y él fue el que nos dijo que deberíamos hablar con usted porque usted fue la que habló con los que hicieron las llamadas.
Scrappy, much love.
Y entonces usted fue la que
Hey, if you
escuchó
get
su
me a
voz.
people full of rooms
She said
to
yes,
fill up
that
the
is
rooms,
her.
I'll do it.
Okay. So could you please
Reach
tell
out,
us a
email me.
little about those calls that you received? I know that you want to keep his anonymity, and we completely respect that. But if there's anything that you could tell us about the initial calls and whether you thought he was old or young, and did he give you any details besides the location?
¿Nos puede contar sobre esas llamadas? Sabemos que quiere guardar que su identidad esté anónima, pero no nos puede contar sobre si era alguien joven, se escuchaba que era alguien joven o ya grande en edad, o si era señor o era una mujer.
Es un hombre, yo le calculo que es joven por la voz, pero sí es un hombre joven el que ha estado comunicándose.
She said it's been a young male.
Okay. Did he just give you only the location, or did he give you any other details? Because one implied that the man, through the description that he's heard from you, sounded remorseful.
¿Cuáles fueron los detalles que le dio por la llamada? Se escuchaba su voz que se sentía con dolor por lo que te estaba diciendo.
No, ellos no tienen dolor, no tienen
Rencor.
la más mínima. Estos anónimos normalmente nos hablan a nosotros, yo siempre lo he pensado que es por remordimiento, pero en realidad no es porque ellos sientan más allá, pues.
She said she doesn't think that it's necessarily remorse. She'd like to believe that it is, but she doesn't truly believe that they're feeling remorseful.
Interesting. Okay. Did he give you any other information? Because hold on. The American media says that they don't believe it. That these are real. The American media has also reported that the American authorities don't feel like it's real, law enforcement. And they have also said that the Mexican authorities don't feel like this is real. Do you think it's real?
Aquí en Estados Unidos, las redes sociales, muchas personas andan diciendo que estas llamadas anónimas no son reales, que
So this lady is being interviewed by Jennifer from Thorn. So Jennifer's channel, she does her and her husband have a show. Jennifer and Glenn. Channel name is Thornbridge X Unfiltered. If you guys want to check it out, that is a channel. Shouts to them for putting this together and doing what they do. We appreciate them a lot. So apparently this person knows where she knows the person who knows where Nancy's body is, long story short. So she's interviewing her and just asking her some questions.
Falsas las llamadas que andan haciendo y han dicho que ahí en México también no creen que son reales. ¿Qué piensa usted? ¿Usted sí cree que sean verdaderas las llamadas anónimas?
Esta llamada en particular yo sí la tomo como algo que sí es cierto. ¿Por qué? Porque ha estado muy insistente, incluso ya me hizo un croquis y me lo envió.
Good night, Tarek. Thanks so much for plugging in tonight.
Caller, she believes is telling the truth, that he is very insistent, that after searches, he'll tell her, oh, you should have searched here.
Anytime, Wisdom.
You were really close. And that this particular
let's go back.
she believes.
Y me lo envió.
She said this particular caller, she believes is telling the truth, that he is very insistent, that after searches, he'll tell her, oh, you should have searched here, you were really close. And that this particular caller has called at least eight times.
Oh my gosh.
But that every time he'll tell her that she's very close and that she should have searched a little bit further.
Wow. Tell her. That's incredible. My question is,
let's listen to that one more time.
That's
times.
The Spanish makes it a little bit challenging.
He said this particular.
Esta llamada en particular yo sí la tomo como algo que sí es cierto. ¿Por qué? Porque ha estado muy insistente, incluso ya me hizo un croquis y me lo envió.
She said this particular caller, she believes is telling the truth, that he is very insistent, that after searches, he'll tell her, oh, you should have searched here, you were really close. And that this particular caller has called at least eight times.
oh my gosh.
But that every time he'll tell her that she's very close and that she should have searched a little bit further.
Wow. Tell her. That's incredible. My question is, a lot of people that care about Nancy, much like you care about any missing person, as do we, have wondered why Nancy? And do you think that these people were hired to do this? Or do you think that they went in to steal something and something went wrong? What are your thoughts? Has this person given you any indications that they were hired to do this or something else?
¿Usted cree que los que le hicieron esto a Nancy, crees que fueron contratados para hacerle esto? ¿O cree que fueron por cualquier otra razón? ¿O lo harían por dinero? ¿O qué cree usted?
Pues en realidad, pues ahora sí que como yo siempre le digo, nosotros somos buscadoras, nunca preguntamos, nunca más allá, no sabemos, hasta a veces cuando conocemos a las familias de los desaparecidos son los que cuentan un poquito de cómo estuvo pues la cuestión para que llegasen a ser desaparecidos. Ok, así.
Okay. So she said that they're just searchers. They don't like to make conjectures about what has happened to these people that they're looking for. And they don't like making rumors, but that she did ask the caller why the Mexicans got involved with Nancy. And she said that he just told her that all they did was cross her body over, but that's all he told her. Over. And she said that he just told her that all the balls they're looking for don't like to make conjectures about what has happened to these people that they're looking for. And they don't like making rumors, but that she did ask the caller um, why the Mexicans got involved with Nancy. And she said that he just told her that all they did was cross her body over, but that's all he told her.
Interesting.
So real quick, I just want to make an interesting point here. A lot of us, if this turns out to be true, a lot of us are the one thing that we're questioning a lot in the beginning of time and more so now in time is the fact that whether or not if cartel is involved. And I have to make this point, and I got to keep it real with y'all. If the cartel was involved, make no mistake about it, but this lady would be probably dead, if not tomorrow, by next week. You cannot even sugarcoat snitch on any of these guys. There's no way she'd be able to come out here and do this interview and not be in fear for her life. This lady would be in fear for her life coming out and saying anything. And so would the person that she's apparently communicating with, because apparently this person that she knows where Nancy is like playing games. Like he's pretty much saying that, this person's telling her when she's close and when she's not close to continue searching in specific areas, which is quite interesting, but quite odd to me as well. But again, if this is cartel, you're not going to want to test that. So I'm going to assume moving forward that cartel has nothing to do with this here because you don't want to test those waters. I mean, she's not only putting herself at risk if cartel's involved, but she'd be putting her family at risk too.
So does she think that this is someone from Mexico, or does she think that this is someone from Arizona that just happens to speak Spanish? I mean, could she tell?
Entonces, ¿usted cree que la persona que hace las llamadas es de allí de México o cree que es de acá de Estados Unidos, de Arizona?
No, es de aquí de México. Tiene que ser de aquí de México, tiene que conocer muy bien el lugar ahí donde hemos estado yendo, porque es un lugar muy, pues muy solo en realidad. Es un lugar muy solo donde no, pues no.
Okay, so she said that the caller is for sure from Sonora because she said that he has an accent, that she can hear his accent, and that he has to know the place very well because it's a place that not very many people go to, and yet he can describe it in detail exactly where she has to be searching. But she thinks that the caller is for sure a local.
Interesting. Why is it so hard to find the body if he's giving you descriptions that are detailed through 8 phone calls? Do you think you're getting closer?
Dice que por qué es tan difícil encontrar dónde es que le está diciendo que busque si ya ha tenido 8 llamadas. Entonces, ¿usted cree que se está acercando a donde él quiere que busque?
Sí, lo que pasa es que es un área muy extensa, pues, o sea, por ejemplo, a mí me dice, busca un árbol, busca un áliso, la raíz está quemada. Pues te estoy hablando que hay como 1000 alisos.
So she said that it's a very vast area. It's a huge area they're having to search, and that he does
Okay.
give her details, but he'll tell her like, "Oh, you have to look for this tree with burnt roots." But that they found like 8 different trees with burnt roots, and so he's not giving them like an exact location. He's just telling them you have to look for this, but there's multiple of those things all around them. And then from there, they're searching multiple kilometers around that area that they.
Let's go back a little bit. I want to hear this one more time here. Very interesting.
Busca un áliso, la raíz está quemada. Pues te estoy hablando que hay como 1,000 Alisos.
Very vast area. So she said that it's a very vast area. It's a huge area they're having to search, and that he does
Okay.
give her details, but he'll tell her like, "Oh, you have to look for this tree with burnt roots." But that they found like 8 different trees with burnt roots, and so he's not giving them like an exact location. He's just telling them you have to look for this, but there's multiple of those things all around them. And then from there, they're searching multiple kilometers around that area that they have found. Um, but that this Sunday, the reason they're not having a search is for the weather. They can't have one because of the weather.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. My other question would be, I know that again, you don't want to ask questions for anybody that calls with a tip for certain things, but since this is from America with a famous American's, mom, did I'm just curious how he got involved in this. It seems very strange that somebody from Sonora would be involved with somewhat of a random grandma. Does she have any thoughts on that? Is he and my other question would be, it seems random that they would pick an 84-year-old woman from from Tucson, and yet he said he just dumped her over there. It feels like, why does he care if you find her?
Mostly chick,
I
much love.
guess
Thanks so
if
much for
this
stopping by.
was,
You have a good night.
I guess that's what I'm, and did she think he's watching them then? Or does she think he could even be part of one of the volunteers? Like, how would he know where they're searching? So those are my questions.
Okay. So quiere saber que cómo cree que esta persona que les está hablando se involucró con esta señora de Estados Unidos de 84 años, cómo hizo para involucrarse en traerse o poner el cuerpo y esconderlo ahí en Sonora y por por qué le importará tanto que encuentren el cuerpo. Y si usted piensa que los está cuidando y viendo dónde están buscando, o si cree que puede, que sea posible que sea uno de los que están ayudándolos a buscar.
Mm, Esta persona, pues obviamente que tiene que ser de la mafia de aquí de Nogales, ¿no? Obviamente. Pues. Nosotros nos referimos al hecho de que andan, ¿por qué? Porque siempre andan en los
Folgers, good seeing you,
alrededores a kilómetros,
Folgers.
no andan cerquitas de nosotros, siempre andan viendo dónde andamos. Empatía, como te vuelvo a decir, de una persona muy mayor que a lo mejor pues no se merecía algo así. Pues.
Okay. So she said that the person is definitely involved with the Nogales mafia. That so she doesn't think that it's one of the people that are helping them search, because she says that they're watching them from afar, but they can't get too close because of their security that they have with them every time that they're doing their searches. That the first time that he called, she didn't really think too much about it. She thought it was just any other call. But then the second call, she asked him for more information in order for her to believe what he was telling her. And that's whenever he started telling them, like, oh, y'all are getting close. And that the I'm assuming whoever gave them her body,
I want to go back just real quick here.
the people that are helping them search, because she says that they're watching. Okay. So she said that the person is definitely involved with the Nogales mafia. That so she doesn't think that it's one of the people that are helping them search, because she says that they're watching them from afar, but they can't get too close because of their security that they have with them every time that they're doing their searches. That the first time that he called, she didn't really think too much about it. She thought it was just any other call. But then the second call, she asked him for more information in order for her to believe what he was telling her. And that's whenever he started telling them, like, oh, y'all are getting close. And that the I'm assuming whoever gave them her body, they just told them to get rid of it, so to bury it, but that she's wrapped in a black tarp, is what they know. Um, and that they just got paid by whoever did this to her from here in the United States. They just got paid by them to get rid of the body and to just make it go missing. And she thinks that he might just feel sympathetic or feel empathy towards her because it's an elderly person. And she thinks that that might be why he's making these calls, is he might be feeling empathy towards her for being both a woman and then also being older in age.
Very interesting. Did he give a description of what clothing she would be wearing? Because my assumption is there could be a lot of people buried in black tarps. Did he give any kind of description of clothing that they could find on the body?
¿No les dio una descripción de qué ropa estaría usando la señora Nancy?
No, no me dio una descripción, solamente eso de que estaba envuelta, yo asumo que
Okay. So she said that she doesn't think that they messed with the body at all, that he told her that whenever they got the body, she was already covered up in that black tarp and wrapped up. But she said that he did say she had slippers on and that he had dropped one near where they had buried her, but that she had jeans, but didn't say what color, and that she had brownish, reddish hair.
Gee.
So real quick, we wanted to just update on one thing. We know this.
Wow. What a story. What a story. We'll continue here just for a bit here. We'll try to get through this little interview here that they've got going on. It doesn't seem like it's still too long of an interview here. So I want to get through it. Let's get through this.
Clarified that for us in the first interview. People. So thank you so much for talking to us about this. I know that this can be difficult, and there's so much about this that so many people don't understand. Start with that.
Okay. Dice, muchas gracias por hablarnos sobre esto, que es un tema muy difícil de cuál hablar, y hay muchas cosas que personas no entienden sobre este caso.
So I guess my next question is, since they did tell you that they're not the ones that did it, they're just the ones that received the tarp with the body in it, and they were, I guess, told who was in it, did he ever give a description or indicate if the people that gave him the body were also hired?
Quiere saber si el que le dijo que pues fue el que escondió el cuerpo, si no le dijo que
Good point, Jumpes. He said if she's wrapped, how do slippers fall off? Well, obviously, it sounds like she was not wrapped very well. And I would assume that she really didn't really have to be wrapped very well. And I mean, and obviously, if they, let's just put it this way, like, they take her out of the house, and that could have been what they spent their time doing. That could be very much so why it took them so long from the time that the perp arrived at Nancy's house to the time that they left. But I mean, who wants to do this and make, and just, I can't imagine how difficult it would be in a car to really wrap somebody's body in a tarp to the point where nothing is exposed on the body at all. So, I mean, it sounds like it could be actually logical, because and if you're moving with a sense of urgency and you're trying to just get the job done, you know, you're not really going to want to stop for too long anywhere, because you're at the moment you stop, you're more at risk of being caught. And if you're on a mission, you want to be able to complete that mission as soon as possible. And not only that, I mean, I've always said this. I mean, just because the perp looks like he's taking his sweet time in the video does not mean he's really, you know, taking his sweet time. I mean, he could just be moving cautiously, because he wants to make sure that he does everything right and he doesn't want to make any mistakes. But I truly think that this is a logic. I mean, there could be some logic to this story. And then I'm not saying that this could turn out to be true. And I'm not saying that it can't, because it's very much so believable for sure. Whether or not that this person, excuse me, I'm over here spitting. Whether or not that this person could have some empathy toward Nancy, I don't know about that part. You know, I don't know if this person really has empathy. And you know, based on the little details that they know, or that he claims, this person that's supposedly the quote unquote caller, how would he really be able to verify that this person is actually Nancy? And of course, we probably got to keep listening to figure that out, or I just missed it. But how does this person know that this is Nancy? Because if you're dropping a body off, why would you even share who it is exactly? You know, your goal when you're dropping the body off is to just get rid of it. Why would you want to share with the person that you're, you know, or the location and place who specifically it is? Because you're putting yourself at risk even more that way, right? I mean, you're taking a body to a place where, you know, people do this type of stuff for a living to get paid, you know, get rid of bodies. Why would you expose the person's name that you're dropping this, you know, body off to? So that to me is a little weird to me, because if I'm dropping off a body personally, I'm not going to tell you that person's name, because I don't want this to come back and bite me in the butt. Now, it's a whole other story if before these guys burnt this body or did whatever they did with the body, they disposed of it however they did, looked at the body. Now that changes things, you know, because who knows? I mean, these guys are crazy in Mexico, you know, especially when you're dealing with cartel. I mean, they've done it all. We've seen it all. I mean, there's been some pretty, I guess I'd call it like gruesome, like videos on the internet since I was a child that you would not want to see. I mean, that was very difficult for me to see, that I probably don't ever want to see again. So, I mean, I can't imagine that these people probably even looked at her, if this turns out to be true, before they actually did anything to her. So, I mean, you never know. I mean, but I would just really like to know whether or not that this person told the people that they left the body with who it was.
Los que le entregaron el cuerpo a él, si cree que ellos también fueron contratados por alguien más.
Pues sinceramente no le pregunté más. O sea, yo solamente le pregunté por morbosa, eso sí lo hice por morbosa. Le dije, y oye, le dije, ¿a ti ya te la entregaron pues la señora ya con el daño o aquí en...
She said she didn't ask, but that she just wanted to know the location. That the only thing she asked was if he was the one that harmed her, and he said no. That's how he was, or that's how she was given to him.
You know, I hate to stop this real quick one more time, but you know, what's interesting is, you know, the cartel, you know, just to go back on my comment earlier, because I'm like, why would this guy, you know, why would this lady be saying this? Because if she's saying this, she's putting not only her family at risk, but she's putting the cartel at risk and herself. But it, you know, this is obviously a third party type of thing. So they probably are trying to figure out who this person is, who's telling this lady this. But still, at the same time, she's not only is she putting herself at risk here. You know, they might not even care. I mean, I'm sure they care who this guy is who's letting this information out. but she's also exposing her identity by being on this show with Jennifer. And that's crazy. This lady's got some balls to get on here and do this. I mean, I'm scared for her.
But that she just wanted to know the location. That the only thing she asked was if he was the one that harmed her, and he said no, that's how he was, or that's how she was given to him already. But that she didn't ask if like if the people that gave him the body were hired as well, or if they were the ones that did the harm.
Interesting. Is he aware that the mother's that Nancy's daughter Savannah was offering money for her body?
¿Usted cree que el que está haciendo las llamadas anónimas sabe que están ofreciendo dinero si se encuentra el cuerpo?
Él no me ha mencionado absolutamente nada de eso. No, nunca me ha mencionado que quiere dinero. Muchas veces, pues ellos, por ejemplo, nos mandan un anónimo, nos hablan y nos dicen, ve hasta el sitio.
So she said that he hasn't mentioned the reward money at all, and he also hasn't he hasn't asked them for any money at all. That they don't charge whenever they do these anonymous calls. The only thing that he's asking for them to do is to find her, that he wants them to find her body, that she thinks he's feeling remorse and he's trying to clear his conscience. But that she thinks that it's because he's feeling empathy for her being an elderly lady, but that, yeah, he hasn't mentioned anything about wanting part of that reward money.
Okay. My other question is, since he said he was given the body to dispose of, is it close to the Native American border in Arizona? Or is it, because as she said, I looked at the map and it looks huge. So what area did he indicate that they gave him the body somewhere else or near the border? And if so, if it was near the border, is that border near the Indian reservation in Tucson, or is it closer to like the Nogales border crossing? Or does she know?
I'm familiar, guys. I'm familiar with the group because this group has been out here for Nancy before. And I don't know if this is the same lady, but there were two ladies that got in trouble remember, I don't know if you guys remember that, but the two ladies that were digging out right in front of Nancy's house that got in trouble. But I'm familiar with them because they, it's came out before that they were, and this is I believe this is a different, I want to say this might be a different group, but I think both groups are highly respected. But honestly, guys, to be real, being highly respected in Mexico isn't going to stop you from being killed or the cartel from harming somebody in your family. They do not care about that. But I get it, but at the same time, you got to understand that respect isn't going to save your life when it's at risk. But I think I want to say this might be the same group that came out here. I'm not 100% sure if this is the same group because the name looks very familiar and it almost looks identical to the name that we saw on Nancy's mailbox, because remember they left a flyer. They left flyers, multiple flyers everywhere. I think it's a different group, but it's a fairly similar name to the other name. I think it's Madres Buscadoras de Sonora. And it looks like this one is called Buscando Corazones. So I think they're two different groups. And I think they mentioned that in the beginning, that it's not the same group that came out to Nancy's. But again, both of them are highly respectable. They've both, been very successful finding bodies. And I think this is a group right here that came out and tried to help search for Nancy, that ended up getting in trouble for digging.
Dice que
So
si
different group.
usted sabe dónde le han dado el cuerpo al de las llamadas, que si usted cree que fue ahí cerca de la frontera de Nogales o si fue más acá en Arizona.
Pues el día sábado yo estuve en el área que
Jennifer in
ya
the building.
estamos
Shouts Jennifer,
hablando.
man. Thanks for all your hard work. Much love to you and Glenn. I appreciate you guys getting this together. And I think, from my understanding, I don't know if it's on Friday that you guys are going to do an interview, or you guys already did this. Was this last Friday? Or are you guys going to do like another interview with this particular group or this lady again? I think I recall her just saying right now that they're just going to kind of move forward. But I did overhear something about Friday, but this was about last week, so maybe this was this recent Friday that they did this interview. I'm not too sure.
En la pura línea divisoria.
Much love, Jennifer.
Okay. So she said that she doesn't think it was at the exact border, that she thinks it's more over on the Mexico side. But she saw that there, from her going and doing searches there, that she's seen that they have these gates. I think she's seen them open, and she asked if they ever closed them, and they said no. And so she thinks logically that they would have passed her body over like during the night, but she thinks that it was there at the border, or not at the exact border, but over on the Mexico side.
Okay, I will definitely watch pictures from
when
last
she
night.
says the border.
So what I'll do is I'll watch that tonight, and we'll end up either watching that later on tonight, or we'll probably most likely watch it tomorrow. That way we're not too long here.
What is it border on the Tucson or in the Arizona side is what I'm asking, because there's an Indian reservation that borders what I thought was that Mariposa area. So I wondered if it was, when she says the gate, does she mean like the main Nogales gate, Haiti?
I think so. She said she's going to send you the pictures, because I'm not too sure what it is that she's talking about, but she said she was going to send you the pictures of the border that she was talking
The
about.
photos.
But
Okay.
yeah,
Let me go back here. Oh man, you didn't have to do that. Much love to you, Jennifer, and Scrappy. Thanks for the $2 super chat. He says, "What's your TikTok?" I don't have one, but I should get one. Thanks for the 5 gifted memberships. If you're officially now a member, all because of Thornbridge, make sure you send thanks to her for the gifted memberships. Much love to her, and thank you so much for the $10 super chat. He says the story is more about why hasn't Pima called her. Yeah, and to be honest, Jennifer, I wouldn't even rely on Pima County to reach out to this lady. I feel like it's more so the FBI that's really driving this train here. And remember when I believe it was them, when these people were out here doing the search just recently, when we were all fingers crossed, when supposedly they found several bodies at one point in time just recently. Pima County had said that they hadn't reached out to them, this search group, and I don't know for sure if it was them, so don't quote me on it, but when they did speak about this, they said that they didn't even reach out to them about any of the bodies that they dug up and found out there in Mexico or anything like that. So I truly feel like this group might even be aware, and I'm sure you guys know more than I do, but this group might be aware that the Pima County Sheriff Department isn't really doing much. And I think the other group that was out here learned probably pretty quickly that, I don't know, I can't even say that, but they did get in trouble for digging, the other group. And I don't know if they were too fond of that or how they took that. And I don't even know if they were cited, but I just don't know how they took that. And I guess that's irrelevant. But again, Sheriff Department was not reached out to initially when they were doing these searches. So I don't know why they, haven't responded to you guys reaching out to Pima County about this, which is kind of weird. But I think we're all convinced at this point that Pima County doesn't even care about anything in this case at this point. I mean, they haven't really been effective at all in this case at all. I mean, the most effective has been the FBI and no one else. So, I mean, Pima County, I don't know. I honestly wouldn't even waste my time, sharing any information with them. And I don't even think Pima County is even really communicating with the FBI very much at this point either, if you ask me. But I don't know. I mean, they seem to not get along with anybody, so you really can't depend on them to do anything for anything at this point.
I think so. She said she's gonna send you the pictures because I'm not too sure what it is that she's talking about, but she said she was gonna send you the pictures of the
Okay.
border that she was talking
The
about.
photos.
But
Okay.
yeah, she was saying something about it being in Nogales. So
Well, because
um,
tell her there's an Indian reservation on the other side of the border in Arizona. And I was wondering
mhm.
if, because on the map, I thought that that's kind of where the location was that they were looking.
Dice que hay una reserva de los indios aquí en Arizona y que si es ahí donde está hablando usted.
Pues no, pues así a vista no se veían, pues de que hubiera nadie.
Sí, okay. She said that she hasn't that just by view she doesn't see any communities at all. She doesn't see any houses. She doesn't see anything there. So she doesn't think it's a reserve because she feels like she would have seen at least something. That the only thing that they've seen is border patrol, the agents there that but that they've seen them obviously on the Mexico side is where they're at, but that
Right.
they leave the gates open for the wildlife is what she said, so that they can
Oh,
cross over from Mexico to the United States and back and forward. But that she doesn't think it's a reserve because she hasn't seen anybody or any communities, any houses or any buildings at all.
okay. If she can just show us on a map and her photos kind of where they're searching, if she could even take a screenshot on her phone of a map and like circle where they're searching, that would help tremendously.
So I did have a conspiracy board in the background to the person in the chat that was saying something about that. However, it just got too crazy and way too many things in the case were happening to even fit. So I kind of stopped.
¿Cree que nos podría mandar una captura en su teléfono en el mapa de dónde es que están buscando?
Sí, 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 le puedo mandar, o sea,
O-
las fotos de recorrido del área, pues así, y ahí sí se la comparto todas las fotos que tomé.
Sí, estaría muy bien, gracias. Yeah, she said she'll
Ajá.
send the pictures
Perfect.
of the places they've been searching.
Okay. Tell her I have another question. If this gentleman was hired, if this man was hired to get rid of the body, is he scared that he's being talked about in the news as calling in? I mean, like, is he scared for his own life?
Yeah, Jennifer. I mean, they've been very selective on the tips that they're taking, and after doing this for months, I've learned amongst the viewers that I've ran into that had tips that they felt like were something that the FBI should be looking into. Some people have had a successful experience dealing with the FBI, and some have not. Some people have some people even weren't even able to get in contact to even give a tip. Not only that, I mean, there's even been cases where they were not taking tips at a certain time. There's been cases where people were told that they'd be called back to give their tip. There's been waiting lists for tips. So I've learned over time that they have not only slowed down on taking tips, but they also came to a point where they're just no longer even taking tips. And they don't want to tell us that. And that's sad. That is sad. But they don't want to just tell us that they are very selective on the tips that they're taking. They don't want to just be taking tips anymore. But the great part about it is we're learning that through our experience, and well, through our viewers' experiences, reaching out, trying to give tips to help this case. And if it was up to us, I mean, we would all be like, if it was us, we would take all the tips in the world. We would continue taking tips. Initially we started at 40K. We'd probably be at 80,000 by now if it was up to us to take tips. But the FBI is the FBI. I guess they work how they want to work. I guess we just don't understand. I guess we never will. It just doesn't make sense.
Dice que si el que está haciendo las llamadas fue contratado, ¿cree usted que tiene miedo que están hablando sobre esto en las noticias? ¿Cree que tenga miedo por su propia vida?
Pues no, porque nadie sabemos quién es. O sea, es un anónimo que un día me habla de un teléfono. Yo reconozco ya la voz, ¿no? Pero un día me habla de un teléfono, otro día me habla de otro teléfono. O sea, nunca es de un mismo teléfono, pues.
Sí. She said she doesn't think he's scared at all because his identity has been kept anonymous. That every time that he calls, it's a different phone. She thinks that he immediately switches out the SIM cards and the chips like to the phone like as soon as he calls. Because she said that she's tried to track him back, but every time that she has, it doesn't come back to any names. That it just comes up as an unknown caller and yeah, that they have no way of tracking him, so she doesn't think that he's scared.
Does she think that, I mean, I'm assuming I'm just trying to figure this out. If he was hired by somebody in America to dump the body, wouldn't he be afraid that the Americans would know he's talking?
¿No cree que tenga miedo que aquí en Estados Unidos también pueden intentar de buscarlo a él?
Pues hasta el momento, como Estados Unidos no ha movido un dedo aquí en México, pues todo estamos like, así hasta él. O
Sí,
sea, no ha habido ningún movimiento de Estados Unidos aquí en México.
sí. She said that the United States hasn't done anything to like search there in Mexico or anything like that, so
I
she
know.
doesn't think that he'll be scared at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, tell her none of us Americans understand it. None of us watching this that care about the Nancy Guthrie case understand why American authorities wouldn't at least try to look for her. It's ridiculous.
Dice que todos los de Estados Unidos que les importa sobre este caso de Nancy no entienden por qué aquí los de Estados Unidos no han ido a buscar ahí, por lo menos a intentar de encontrar el cuerpo, aunque sea nomás una llamada anónima lo que tenemos, pero por lo menos deberían de intentar de buscarla.
Yo también pienso lo mismo. Igual, pues no, digo, yo conozco muy de cerca el tema de los desaparecidos, ¿no? Y sé muy bien que muchas veces no les interesa y que nos toman a nosotros como colectivo nos toman como a locos.
She said she thinks the same exact thing. She doesn't understand why they haven't even at least tried searching if even there's one little bit of chance. She says that like a lot of people there think that their organization is crazy for listening to these anonymous calls, but she says that even if there's just a little bit of hope of finding these people, they're gonna listen to them. Um, but that she feels a lot of empathy towards Nancy because her mom is around that age too, and she has other people related to her around that age, and so that she feels a lot of empathy towards her.
Wow. And just to touch up on this real quick here, just speaking of anonymous calls, just crazy how Pima County is addressed these anonymous calls pertaining to us in the neighborhood when it comes to streamers doing something wrong, even though no streamer was really technically in the wrong. We all follow the rules and the law as well. But it's kind of crazy to know that, that's a very good point. I mean, they followed up on these anonymous calls, not even knowing for sure whether or not it's been, and we talked about this many a times, not even knowing whether or not, it's a legitimate call from a legitimate neighbor who's made complaints. Yet we got something that could be very serious on our hands that could lead to not only Nancy's return, but justice for the Guthrie family. And come to find out, Jennifer took the time to reach out to several people and the FBI and Pima County, and nothing. Dead silent, nothing. And we hear people say it a lot. They don't want this to be solved. They just want to move on and just brush this under the rug. Could it be somebody in Pima County that doesn't want this to fall back on them because somebody in Pima County is involved? Could it be somebody in Pima County who has sources in Mexico that they could reach out to get rid of a body? I certainly think that. I've thought that since day one, but that's just me. You know, everybody's entitled to what they think. I always say this. We all have our own speculations and theories, but I truly think somebody within Pima County or somebody here locally has ties to somebody in Mexico who they could pay to get rid of a body. I think the best place to take Nancy is Mexico. No other place is closer and better than Mexico. Why would somebody go across country? We had a guy come out the other day and said, well, Nancy's in Utah. And eventually they're going to come out and tell us at some point. He already told Savannah. He's just waiting for them to figure it all out amongst, you know, the Guthrie family before he shares any more details, blah, blah, blah. No, forget all that. This seems more true than any other story that I've heard so far. You know, we went down other alleys, we went down other avenues, and, you know, no disrespect, no offense to, you know, Richard Nolette, but that was one story. For me personally, I wasn't buying. And at first I had a lot of interest in it, but, you know, in time, after kind of learning certain things, I'm like, nah, this is bogus. Get it out of here. Not wasting time with it. But because I'm a really, really big believer when it comes to Nancy, you know, being in Mexico, it's hard for me to look past this one. Although I'm not going to take, you know, her word for it as much as to the point where I'm like, you know what? Yeah, this is true. You know, we really got to look into it. I'm not going to stay stuck on this and make it a whole thing. I'm just going to sit here, wait, stay patient, understand that cases take time, hope, pray that they give this information that's being put out there the time in the day. Otherwise, yeah, in reality, they literally don't want this case to be solved, because we got to look in the areas that are really more possible than some things that have been brought to our attention with this case. But this particular situation is highly possible. I mean, for crying out loud, these guys just found several bodies, several, not a couple, 20 plus bodies. And they're not going to give this the time in the day? That's crazy to me. That's just crazy. That is crazy. I mean, at least just even for instance, with a story that you don't believe, like with Richard Nolette, let's take that for instance. They found a body. He says the body is in Rose Canyon Lake. Just go look. Debunk it. If you're working through tips like you say you are, if they're working through tips like they say, start debunking stuff. They don't even got to show us that they're debunking things. Just go do it. Go do it. The job is to bring justice to this family. We don't need to see it. They don't have to show us proof. It's fine. But at least give people the time and day to share their tips and let them know that you guys are actively working on this case. If this case is big as what it is, why aren't they taking stuff like this seriously? That's what bothers me. I mean, she sat here for God knows how long, spent time talking to this lady. She did her homework. She made sure that, you know, this was a story that was believable, which it very much so is. Took the time out to reach out to the FBI to present this story to them. And they're playing around like this is a joke. Come on, man. This is crazy. This is crazy. Let's continue here.
That's
But
nice.
that she also she doesn't understand why they're not taking it as serious as they probably should.
Okay, tell her thank you for that.
Dice que muchas gracias por esas palabras.
And also, my other question is, when you get these tips to your organization about a location of body, how often do you get those, and what is your success rate? Do you often find the bodies when you get the tips?
Cuando les hablan con estas pistas sobre estos cuerpos escondidos, ¿cuántas de esas veces han encontrado cuerpos ahí donde ellos les están diciendo que
And you
están?
know what? This might sound a little crazy. I'm sorry to stop it again, but Savannah, come on, you got to start using your man powers, your political powers. You're gonna have to start. You know, this is where you can be effective. And I'm sorry, but these stories like this, these are the times that Savannah could step in and say, "Look, let's. I need you guys to go check. I need you guys to go check, even if it costs money. Go do it. Go do it." If Savannah's, claiming what she's claiming, like she's there, she's still looking for her mom, then you got to put in some work too. Getting on social media and simply crying isn't going to bring Nancy home. And I know she's grieving. I know she's going through a lot right now, but I mean, I really hope behind the scenes, because lo and behold, we're not going to hear about none of this stuff, that she's pushing for things like this when we hear stories like this, for things to be simply debunked. She's got to be pushing for stuff like this. Otherwise, things aren't going to get done. They're going to do whatever they want to do. But if she really wants to get closure and bring justice, to this situation, she has got to push the envelope, period. And that's the truth. That's the truth.
Te puedo decir que unas 16 veces me lo han dado casi exacto, ¿no? Me envían croquis o me dan más especificaciones, como ya conozco casi todos los lugares.
Sí.
And no. And keep in mind, you cannot, yes, she can hire a PI, but keep in mind, I'm telling you guys, you cannot just go into Mexico and start searching around. If you're not from there and you don't know where to go and where not to go, it's not recommended. I do not recommend anybody going to Mexico and conducting any searches whatsoever. Even if you're the police, even if you're a PI, keep in mind, you lose every bit of what you have when you step into a whole nother state. A police officer does not have jurisdiction in Mexico whatsoever. And to be quite frank with you, I think the best person for this job, the best people for this job would be somebody like in the Army or something, maybe marshals or something like that, to pull off a job like this where they're just walking into another country and searching. But you cannot, I don't recommend this for mostly anybody, to go into Mexico and start conducting their own searches. Big no. You don't want to do that, especially if the cartel's involved.
So she said that at least 16 times they've called her and told her where somebody is and she's been able to find them, but that sometimes it just takes a while, she had been searching for these group of boys that had been missing since January, and it took her all the way until April to find the first of their remains. But
Jeez.
yeah, but that most of the time, the callers, they're right about where the bodies are. It just takes a while for them to find them.
Okay, one last question. When the person told her about the black tarp and the slippers and the jeans, I guess you can ask her too. When I hear jeans, that sounds like day clothing. They took her in the middle of the night. Is there a Spanish word for pajamas, or is it? That seems odd, is what I'm getting at. Did they give her any other descriptions of the clothing, I guess?
Cuando le estaba diciendo sobre la ropa que llevaba la señora Nancy, o sea, que estaba tapada en el plástico negro y en la colcha y que tenía las pantuflas. Cuando dijo que tenía un pantalón, ¿era pantalón de mezclilla o era como pantalón de pijama o no sabe?
Pantalón de pijama, porque eso
Okay,
sí sí es pantalón de pijama, pues así.
okay. She said it was they were pajama pants. That what she was wearing.
Oh, okay. So not jeans.
Yeah. No, it's because I had understood pants, and so
Oh,
yeah. But it was pajama pants what she was wearing.
okay. Did they give a description of the pajama pants, like color or anything?
No, no le dijeron cualquiera descripción de los pantalones que llevaba, nomás que eran de pijama.
Sí, no me dio ni color, no me dijo más nada, hombre, porque yo pues sí le pregunté que si ella estaba vestida, que si le habían hecho algún daño, y ella me dijo, no, me dijo, nosotros no lo tocamos, me dijo, ya no los pasaron así, incluso venía envuelta, me dijo, en una...
That they didn't give her any description of the pajama pants, but they did, like, whenever she asked them about, like, if they had done any harm to her or anything, they told her no, that they gave her the body covered in a hotel comforter. That it was like the type of comforters that are in hotel rooms, and that then they put the black tarp around that, but that they didn't touch her body at all.
Okay. Did they tell her what color the slippers were? Or because I know they mentioned that one slipper was left behind. Did they give a description on the slippers?
No les dijeron qué color eran las pantuflas o no las encontraron cuando andan buscando.
No me dijo de qué color eran, solamente me dijo que iba con una y que se les cayó. Pues en realidad también es un área donde hay muchísima ropa tirada.
Sí. She said she asked for like more specific details, but he didn't specify any color of the slippers or anything like that. And she said that the area where it was is an area where there's already a lot of random clothes scattered
Oh,
everywhere. And yeah, and then especially also with the flooding, that the slipper might not even be there anymore, that it could have already like gone away with the water.
well, if they find her, say they find what they think fits the description, um, how are they going to be able to identify her? Are they going to send her back or
Good
call the
question,
American
Jennifer.
authorities and
Good
say, we think
question.
we may have found her? Because I know that they don't have her DNA. It's been reported in the news at least.
Dice que si la encuentran, ¿cómo le harían para identificar su cuerpo? ¿Se lo mandarían para atrás, para acá, para los Estados Unidos o cómo le harían?
Pues ya eso ya es cuestión de fiscalía, ¿no? Ya eso ya es cuestión de fiscalía.
Okay. So she said that all she can really go based off of is that she knows that she had a pacemaker. Um, but she says that once they find bodies, they're no longer the ones that deal with them, that the authorities take it from there. And so that they'd probably have to get in contact with the United States authorities get to make sure that it is her.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, tell her thank you so much for agreeing to speak with us. And thank you for all that you do in helping search for people's missing and loved ones. We
Muchas,
appreciate it too.
yeah. Muchas gracias por hablar con nosotros y darnos esta entrevista y muchas gracias por todo lo que hacen. Lo agradecemos mucho.
Did he mention that the body was buried, that he buried her, like it's safe from the floods and that kind of thing?
Did you hear
Uh,
him?
so, yes, el señor de la llamada le dijo que el cuerpo está enterrado
Sí,
sí, saben por seguro que está enterrado, entonces,
sí,
sí. She
está
said
enterrado.
yes.
Sí, porque yo le
Yes,
pregunté, le dije, ¿está muy profundo? Le dije yo. No, me dijo como a medio metro nada más.
okay. She said yes, and that he told her that it's like half a meter deep. So like that'd be like 3 feet.
Foot and a half.
Or
It's
a
not
foot
very
and a
deep.
half, yeah.
Yeah, it's not very
Yeah, it's
deep,
not
but I guess
not
the
super
desert,
deep.
it's hard ground. So
And one more thing is that does
Yeah.
she know the players on the
ground.
Yes.
metro nada más.
Okay. She said yes, and that he told her that it's like half a meter deep. So like that'd be like 3 feet
Foot and a half.
or
It's
a
not
foot
very
and a
deep.
half, yeah.
Yeah, it's not very
Yeah, it's
deep, but I guess
not
the
super
desert,
deep.
it's hard ground. So
And one more thing is that does
Yeah.
she know the players on the American side, like Sheriff Nanos, or any of these
Good question,
other people?
Glenn.
is she familiar with Sheriff Nanos?
Of Tucson?
¿Conoce al sheriff de Tucson, Arizona, que se llama Sheriff Nanos?
No,
¿O ha escuchado de él? No. No,
no.
she hasn't.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. My husband's curious too. So-
It's a good question.
Su esposo tiene preguntas también, dice.
Thank
Ay,
you
no,
so
no,
much for your time.
que me aprobé.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. What a good interview, though. Good questions, Jennifer. Good questions, Glenn. I mean, they ask a lot of good questions. They asked a lot of good questions. I mean, I don't even know if there was some questions in there that I would have asked that they didn't ask. I mean, they asked so many good questions. Good job. Good job to them. I mean, and then that question at the end, just to slip that in there real quick, see if Nanos has any involvement whatsoever. You never know. You just never know. Man, that was a lot. That was a lot. And you know, it wasn't even that long of an interview. I guess it was, but I mean, the short part that I watched, I mean, that was a lot. I mean, that was great. So I mean, hopefully we hear something. I mean, due to the fact that it seems like initially that they didn't take this serious. I hope that Jennifer was at least able to, you know, deliver the report, and they were able to at least document it, because, you know, let's just say that they become exhausted of all tips. You know, at least this one will be in the database, so they can go ahead and look into it. And they won't be exhausted of all tips. You know, let's just say they save this last resort. You know, maybe, you know, they'll fall back on this. And it'll turn out to be something. Who knows? But the college for sure, you know, from Sonora, it's a place that they, you know, she says it's a place that they normally, that people don't normally go to. It's, you know, it seems like it's a very big area from what she described, as far as where Nancy could be. So it's a big area that, you know, they're searching, she says, and it gives her details that they have to look for some tree with burnt roots. Nonetheless, I mean, she did state that there were about 8 trees with burnt roots, which made it a little bit more difficult for them to you know, search for Nancy. So he's kind of trying to lead her where she might be, so that way she could just find this body on her own. And no one can pretty much say that, you know, hey, you know, so-and-so told you this, blah, blah, blah. And I really hope, you know, considering she's close, I think it'd just be a matter of time, right, before she's able to find Nancy. So, I mean, regardless, even if the FBI doesn't take this serious, I mean, considering she's close, I mean, I think we could have hope in that regard. And I think, you know, at some point, if she's in the area, because according to what this caller has told her, this lady, you know, I would assume that at some point she's going to find Nancy. I mean, Ramona's close. She's in the general area. Then I think they'll find her. And that's a good way to look at it, I guess, in the sense of, you know, not, you know, knowing that the FBI is not really taking it serious. So apparently this person is involved in the Nogales Mafia. She, you know, she doesn't think that it's one of the people that are helping doing the search. And, you know, they're watching from afar. And they have some type of security. They describe Nancy that she's wrapped in a black tarp, that she got that they got paid, that they just got paid, and that they got paid to get rid of the body and, you know, pretty much make her go missing. She thinks it's she thinks this person has some type of empathy toward Nancy because of, you know, her age. As far as the description goes, there wasn't really too much description. He did say at one point in time that he was able to see the sandal, and one of the sandals had fell off. And then he described the hair. I think he described it as like reddish, kind of orange or something like that, from what I remember. What else here? He also said that the body was covered in some type of hotel comforter, and then it was covered in tarp, which is super interesting. But apparently they must have took some type of time to either wrap Nancy while they were present, which I think that's what would have happened if this turns out to be true. I don't really see them stopping anywhere to just make sure she's really wrapped up. But then again, maybe so, because, you know, if you're crossing the border, you're going to be really skeptical of somebody discovering her in the vehicle. So she has to be wrapped well. But to the point where feet is hanging out, or, you know, hair. Oh, that's risky. That's very risky. And they also said that her body was about 1.5 feet deep. I think she described it as about 1 meter or so, which is very interesting story. And we'll watch the rest tomorrow, because apparently there's some more details that they were able to dig up on Patriot Pride. And I'll keep talking about it as well. And I mean, there hasn't really been too much on Nancy's story as it is. And this is a quite interesting one. So I'll definitely be tuning in with Patriot Pride to you know, see what other details that we haven't learned here tonight. And again, shouts to Jennifer, shouts to Glenn for you know, putting in the necessary work and, you know, stumbling across these people somehow, some way. Because again, there really hasn't been no movement with the Guthrie case, unfortunately. And I hope this is it. I really do. I want this to be it. It's been 180 days and we haven't got anywhere with the Guthrie case at all. As far as them being able to, you know, recognize, you know, Nancy, that could be difficult because, I mean, a body decomposes in a very short period of time in some situations. You know, I think it takes typically about 3 to 7 days for a body to not be recognizable. And I think it depends on the climates, but, you know, if you take Tucson, for instance, the climate's very hot here. So, I mean, typically that's going to be 2 to 4 days, but when you got cool climates, it's a little bit longer, obviously. So as far as decomposition goes, I would say, you know, within 1 to 2 weeks, you know, skin starts to kind of slip off. You got soft tissues that kind of, you know, liquefies, and then limbs, you know, eventually detach. Ugh, I hate to even think about it. And then you have like the insect, you know, breakdown, because, you know, obviously you get attacked by, you know, maggots and whatnot that eat away at your body, especially, you know, underground. They just come regardless. And then at some point, it also is difficult for these guys to, you know, get DNAs in certain ways, like fingerprints, for instance, because fingerprints, they have like a severe decomposition when it comes to the body, I guess. I don't even know how to, I guess, put it in words, but due to the decomposition, I think it makes it very, very difficult for, you know, forensic, you know, folks to be able to, you know, get that type of DNA off of the body. But I mean, we'll see. Like I said, we'll keep tuning in here, and you know, hopefully we'll be able to, you know, get somewhere with this information that's been presented to us. Much love to you guys all, man. I appreciate everybody showing love and support to the channel. Let's continue to keep the hope alive for Nancy. Let's continue to send a message and let the folks know, Pima County Sheriff Department, FBI, everybody that's involved in this case, that we're not going anywhere. We're not going nowhere. We're going to keep pushing. Justice for Nancy, justice for Nolan Wells, justice for anybody out there that's missing. We're here. We are here. We're not going anywhere. Much love to you guys all. It's been a pleasure tonight, guys. It's been an awesome stream. You guys make the stream what it is. I always say this. No stop in my heart. There's been some downfalls. Been losing a lot of subscribers lately, but it's all right. We're going to figure it out. I'm confident. I got hope. No stop in my heart. We're going to keep on going. It's your boy, the Juice. I'll see y'all next time, folks. Much love to you guys all. Have a good night, folks.
We know what that is about. Keep us out, keep us out. We won't bow down. Keep us out, keep us out. Keep us out. Your fear won't right the route. Keep us out, keep us out. We won't bow down. Names get tossed like stones. From a driveway built on loans. They pointed brown hands first. Then pretend they don't rehearse. But the steps on every street carry more than whitewashed dreams. We belong where we stand. No permission in our hands. Yeah, and the silence won't protect you. When the pattern keeps on showing.